Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Today is Monday, November 24th, 2025. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. We are here at Department of Career Services. We are here to help our students and other interested people on their journey through this life, where we have a transcendent soul that is heading somewhere. So our goal is to help move it. To help move it in the best direction possible. Monday through Friday, we call our normal school, where we focus on physical, mental, and emotional. Weekends, we call G school, where we focus on the spiritual, which is the most important, which is why we do it on the Sabbath and on the Lord's Day. The way our country is set up, we celebrate. We have both the Sabbath, which is on Saturday, and the Lord's Day, which is on Sunday. The Sabbath reflects God's commandment, keep holy the Sabbath. And the Lord's Day recognizes the resurrection, the new covenant, the Christian church. You got to wonder, though, when you talk to people who are Sabbath followers, what about bacon? How come there's an exception for bacon? All right, well, let's get started. Today is week 1. I'm sorry, it's day 1 of, we'll get that in editing, right? It's day 1 of week 4 in our State Penn workbook, as opposed to the Penn State workbook. This is the State Penn workbook, meaning it's about work. A neuroscience approach to success. Novum-u. Edward Bevilacqua. So this is day 1 of week 4 of our 28-day course. This week 4, we are focused on what we call leadership. Leadership is just the pleasant way of saying things, because it's really about power. It's really about getting people to do what you want, and in this case, to stay the course. More about that later. Advice from an 80-year-old. Okay, who stole the advice from an 80-year-old? Oh, there it is. Think twice before burdening a friend with a secret. Why would that be a burden? Why would it be a burden? Because by its nature, a secret is the thing that you don't share. So if you share it with a friend, now they have a burden to not share it. So don't give that burden to a friend. Okay, cool. Next, Seth Godin. Seth Godin. Marketing Lessons from the Grateful Dead. Of course, a book with a title like this gives us pause. When we think of marketeers, we don't ordinarily think of Jerry, Phil, Bobby, and the rest of the crew. But that's one reason why the insights are so profound. Marketing isn't hype or hustle or scamming. It's not spam or manipulation either. We already have words for those things. Marketing is the generous act of showing up with a true story that helps people get to where they'd like to go. And the stories are at the heart of what we think of when we consider the dead. The intentional choices about fans, tours, records, the radio, and most of all, the community. Work that matters for people who care. While it's tempting to make every marketing lesson about Apple or Starbucks, it's the lessons we learned from the Grateful Dead that are most applicable to a typical project. The smallest viable audience, the purple cow, the tribe, and the persistence to build an actual brand, not just a logo. The thing is, these aren't marketing secrets, they're marketing choices. Instead of making average stuff for average people, the Grateful Dead decided to focus on the people who wanted to get on the bus. The book is highly recommended. You can even listen to music while you're reading it. Also worth a read. Lose Your Mind, a useful take on creativity. P.S. This is Strategy is 50% off this week. This book is 50% off. Buy it. There we go. Buy it. All righty then. Okay, what else we have on our hit parade? Atticus Von Atticus has joined us. Our theme of today is what? The compound effect. Boom. Darren Hardy talking about that today. The link to that is down below. His talk, the compound effect. Instead of making big changes, make small changes. Instead of a few big changes, make a number of small little changes that will have a compound effect, a ripple effect. The butterfly effect. It adds up. If you start the trajectory right, if you start doing little things that lead to bigger things, it will lead to bigger things, and that will lead to bigger results. So the compound effect. Let's see, a little note about Roy Henry. Got to see him yesterday at the hospital. Looks pretty healthy to me. 8 pounds, 13 ounces, 21 and a half inches long, born at 3/11 on November 23rd, 2025. So really good. The grandmother was there. The mother, of course, Lucy there, Brandon, the father, and a very healthy looking baby with a blood type of A positive. A plus. He's an A plus kid. Good for him. A lot of hair. Very calm. Very good. So we'll see. 20 years from now, we'll see how he's doing. My hunch is very good. All righty then. So what are we going to talk about? Our TED Talk for today, week 4. We bring it all together. So let's talk about week 4. Week 4, imagine the purpose of this course is like preparing for the adventure of your life. First week is, what's the point of the adventure? Why have an adventure? Why not just go through having somebody else tell you what to do? Why not just be a sheeple? Somebody else tells you what to do. You do what you're told. Why not do that? Well, you can. That's a choice you can make. On the other hand, you might want to take the position of, we live one time. This is a one-time deal. Why not make the most of it? Honor the gifts that we have been given. Why not do that? So that's week 1. Plus, well, how are we going to do that? So overview and orientation. Week 1, or life. Think of your life as an adventure that you get to experience, but you have to build the vessel that's going to take you there. And so for our purposes, we choose to think of it as a sailboat, a boat that is wind powered. And the boat has many things, but let's just focus on 4 basic things: the sails, the steering mechanism, the below deck, and the outer hull. Those are the things, and we have to build a boat. So week 2 is building the boat. And you got to think about this thing. You got to think about, how big do I want the boat to be? Because if it's bigger, it's better, but it's more, there's more to it. Can't do it on my own, but I can have a better adventure. So do I want to have a small adventure on my own, or a bigger adventure, but I need to have more people? I have to build the boat better. Do I want to have a nice, comfortable below deck where I've got sleeping quarters, I've got a kitchen, I've got storage, I have an area, I can go down there and feel good to get there when, for warmth when it's cold, dry when it's wet, cool when it's hot outside, etc. Plan that. The below deck. I got to have the sails. The sails are important. If they're too small, I won't get very far. If they're too big, I really got to have a good crew, because bad things can happen if the sails are too big. Steering mechanism. The more intricate and sophisticated it is, the more I can do. If it's just a 2x4, it's not really going to be very effective. So I got to think of all of those things, and I got to have a hull, an outer hull that is solid. It is solid, so that if the sails fail, if the steering mechanism fails, if the below deck gets flooded or whatever, as long as the hull is intact, I can be there waiting for help to be rescued. But all of the other things can be working well. The sails could be great. The steering mechanism's great. Below deck looks beautiful, but I hit something, I crack the hull, water is flooding in, I am going down. Not good. So I've got to think about these things building the boat. Now, week 3, outside my school size came, I got to get a crew. Got to get a crew on the boat to help me. So I got to get the right people. I got to get people who are conscientious, people who are somewhat fearless, people who have vision, willing to sacrifice. How do I find and attract those people? How do I get them to help me on my adventure? And then week 4 is, I now have all of those things in place. I have this idea of my adventure. I have built the boat. I have got my crew. The next thing I have to do is, when I shove off, when the journey is afoot, when the adventure has begun, I need to stay the course or find a better course. I can't be questioning every day, is this the right way or was that the right way? Was this, the that, the that? I can't be doing that. I have to have resolve, and I have to have the crew that will be with me. No mutiny, no laziness, no, we're all in this together attitude. Take my vitamin I. Today I deliver food. I have to watch, I'm participating in a class, a Zoom class on Medicaid billing. Lunch with Tony Manuel, Associate Pastor Tony Manuel from Assemblies of God. Maybe share part of the book with him, the new book. But okay, so now here we are, week 4. We are now in week 4. How do we keep going? And so week 4 is about leadership. It's not really leadership. That's the pleasant way to talk about it. What is leadership? Well, what do leaders do? What do managers do? It's about power, getting other people to do what you want. It's value neutral. It's like a hammer or money. They are value neutral. They are just things. Money is just a way to experience more. A hammer is a tool. And getting other people to do what you want is just a thing. But it's a spectrum of positive and negative. Negative, we don't do. We don't do negative. That's the dark side of the force. That is manipulation, coercion, intimidation. That's that. We don't do it because of a value judgment. We don't do it because it's very expensive. You know, if you are going to coerce somebody or put a gun to their head, they're only going to do what you want as long as the gun is at their head. But the problem is, the longer you have the gun at the head, the more time their head, the more time they have to figure out when you're going to get tired. Because the second that gun gets away, the second I feel that gun is no longer a threat, I will take it away from you. Not a productive way to go. Prisons would be an example. It gets very hard to incarcerate, very expensive to incarcerate people. And they're always thinking of how to break the bonds. Whereas the other side, motivation side, encouragement, motivation, the ultimate, the pinnacle of that is self-motivation. Motivation is like winding somebody up. Okay, what's the problem with that? Well, you got to keep winding them up, but it's scalable. I wind you up, boom, I let you go. And wind up the next person, wind up the next person, wind up the next person, let them go. They're outgoing. Whereas if I've got a gun to your head, I can't let you go anywhere. And I can't have a gun on too many of you because at some point, somebody's going to get me. So we don't go dark side for pragmatic, practical reasons. We go the other way because it's scalable. And the ultimate scalable thing is if people wind themselves up. They do it because they believe in it. They don't need you to continue to wind them up, to remind them of the benefits. Religion would be probably the best example of that. Patriotism is another example of that. Patriotism is not more, but also involves motivation. I got to keep winding you up to be patriotic because other people might be putting fear, doubt, and uncertainty, FUD into the recipe. But self-motivation, if we can get people to wind themselves up, that is geometrically scalable. I don't think it's exponentially scalable. Maybe it is, but because as I'm motivating myself, I can be motivating other people. And other people motivating other people, yeah, it could be exponential. So it scales fast and it can scale strong as long as the core remains intact. Okay, so this week we're learning that spectrum. Today we're focused on, we do the positive end of the spectrum, but leadership, the daily wave of leadership is you have highs and lows. Some days are crisis, other days are perfect. And so we're going to follow that. Today, our focus is crisis leadership. How do you keep going when everything's going wrong? Nancy Kane, Professor Nancy Kane from Harvard, who we have a special place in our heart for. She's been very supportive. Talks about crisis leadership. How do you keep going when everything is apart? And she uses President Lincoln or Abraham Lincoln and Ernest Shackleton as perfect examples of it's as bad as it can get, and they keep moving forward. Like this is like we might die. The probability is we might fail, but we're going to keep going forward. Tomorrow we flip the script. We go the opposite direction to Michael Sugray, rest in peace, talks about Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of the world who had ultimate complete power, yet he remained a good guy. Then Wednesday and through the rest of the week, we're going to focus on pragmatic leadership. We're going to focus on Ignatius of Loyola and Stoicism. And with that, we're going to wrap it up and say, hasta la vista, baby. Shivas and